We are almost done. We're almost done with group stage, and there are still some groups that are left wide open to sort out. Which ones? Well, I'll tell you in this Champions League Match Day 5 recap. And hey, if you like what you see, then maybe throw us a bone and subscribe. Okay, Group A, and let's get Benfica over with as fast as possible, shall we? Another match day and another massive L straight to the dome for Benfica, as they looked absolutely spineless against CSKA Moscow in a 2-0 loss. 5 matches, 0 wins, 0 draws, that's 0 points. 12 goals against and just 1 goal scored, and that was way back on match day 1. Which is frustrating for us Benfica fans, but I'm sure that Manchester United fans were just as frustrated that their team couldn't get the 1 point that they needed to secure their spot in the Champions League knockout stages. They just needed that 1 point to make them unreachable for the 3rd place team, and they couldn't get it against FC Basel. FC Basel continued their massive turnaround, and even a returning Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who now has played for 7 different clubs in the Champions League, which is a record, couldn't do anything to stop these pesky Swiss boys. Something happens to English sides when they go to Basel though, as no English side has been able to keep a clean sheet away to FC Basel, and that's across 14 separate fixtures. So Group A still has some sorting out to do, as both Basel and CSKA Moscow sit on 9 points apiece. And in the final match day, Manchester hosts CSKA Moscow, while Benfica will get beat by FC Basel. Ah, Group B, where the goals live. Poor Celtic probably went to the Parc des Princes full of hope, thinking maybe, just maybe, we can pull off a miracle. And that hope would have been stoked even further after Moussa Dembele scored 56 seconds into the match. That's the fastest ever goal for Celtic in the Champions League. But after that, PSG scored with their next 4 shots on target, with a double from Neymar and 1 apiece from Cavani and Mbappe. Cavani, by the way, surpassed the 150 goals mark for PSG, having played in only 216 matches. With a final score of 7-1, and still with another match to play, PSG smashed the Champions League group stage goal haul record with 22, but then went on to score a couple more to take that record up to 24. In the other match, Bayern went to Anderlecht and won 2-1, which means Anderlecht scored their first goal of the Champions League this season. Too bad they also have a Benfica record and are super eliminated. The best they can hope for is to steal 3rd from Celtic, but even that will be a tough task. Everything is sorted out at the top of this group, with PSG still boasting a perfect record and Bayern Munich right behind them on 12 points. So it's hard to say what each team will do going into the final match day in this group, as they do play each other. Chelsea punched their ticket for the knockout stages as well, as they did it for the 14th time in their last 15 Champions League appearances, as they went to Azerbaijan and left with an easy 4-0 win as a souvenir. Eden Hazard scored and assisted, meaning he scored 3 in his last 3 Champions League matches, which is more than in his last 19 Champions League matches combined. Cesc Fabregas also hit a milestone, as he scored his 20th Champions League goal, becoming just the 4th Spaniard to hit that milestone. In the other match, Atletico took care of business at the Wanda Metropolitano with a 2-0 win over AS Roma. Antoine Griezmann scored and assisted, meaning he's had a hand in 10 of Atletico's last 15 Champions League goals. Damn, it'll be very interesting to see what Atletico does once Diego Costa shows up in January. That's a pretty huge mid-season signing. So, that win takes Atletico within 2 points of 2nd placed AS Roma. But Atletico does have to go to Stamford Bridge on the final match day, whereas AS Roma, they're hosting Karabakh, so the odds are definitely in their favor. Group D, which has kind of been group dull in this Champions League season, I've found at least. In fact, after their 0-0 draw with Juventus, Barcelona has had 2 consecutive 0-0 draws in the Champions League for the first time in their history. Sporting are doing everything in their power to at least make the final match day interesting, as they beat Olympiacos 3-1 at home to take them up to 7 points to Juventus's 8. Juve, however, will like their chances of moving on, as they take on Olympiacos in the final match day, and Sporting has to go away to FC Barcelona. Group E is looking as tight as ever, as both matches on this particular match day ended in draws. Both exciting in their own right. Let's start with the lesser exciting fixture, Maribor vs Spartak, as Zé Luís scored in his 2nd match running, and he probably thought it was the winner, but that was not to be. As in the 92nd minute, the pesky Maribor managed to get an equalizer and in turn got their 2nd point at this group stage. But unfortunately, a point is only enough to guarantee that they'll stay at the bottom of this group. In the other match, my. Liverpool fans, all I have to ask is, how does it feel to be on the opposite end of a 3-goal comeback? Mind you, this wasn't in a cup final, and you have experienced something like this against Crystal Palace, you might remember, a few years ago. But yes, in what was probably one of the most exciting matches on the match day, Liverpool blew a 3-0 first half lead to draw 3-3 with Sevilla, to allow Sevilla to claw back a point from the grips of death, and to give them the edge over Spartak going into the final match day. Sevilla conceded their fastest goal in UCL history, which was in turn Liverpool's fastest ever scored, when Firmino notched on 1 minute and 28 seconds, adding another goal and an assist later, and he's taken his goal involvement to 7 in 5 Champions League appearances. But after that, a Ben Yedder brace later, making him the all-time top scorer for Sevilla in the Champions League, past Freddy Canute. Add on top of that a late Guido Pizarro equalizer, and you get a ton of unhappy Liverpool fans and certainly embarrassed Liverpool players. Liverpool are still at the top of the table, however, on 9 points. With Sevilla in second and Spartak in third. Liverpool and Spartak play each other on the final match day, with nothing settled in this group just yet. Newsflash, everybody! Feyenoord, well, they're still winless. They have a Benfica record as well. Thanks to Man City, who just managed to keep their purple patch going. Thanks in part to the new and improved Raheem Sterling Mach 2. In the process, Phil Foden became the 4th youngest Englishman to debut in the Champions League, behind the likes of Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Dominic Solanke, and Jack Wilshere. Wilshere, by the way, was 16 and 329 days old when he made his debut, whereas Foden was 17 and 177 days old. The other match in this group saw Napoli get a huge win over Shakhtar, who still sits 3 points ahead of them in the standings. So to get out of this group, Napoli will need to get a big win against Feyenoord and hope for a favor from Manchester City as they're going away to play against Shakhtar. Could be a bit of a tall order considering City may rest some of their players on this match day, and Shakhtar will be playing for their lives, but hey. This is why we watch the Champions League, am I right? Another reason why we watch is to see history get made, like in Group G, where Besiktas and FC Porto played out to a 1-1 draw. And I know what you're thinking. What is so historic about a 1-1 draw? Well, it was enough to get Besiktas to the top of the table on 11 points. And with second and third just having 7 points apiece, they're now unreachable, meaning they've clinched top of the group. For the first time ever, a Turkish team has finished first in a Champions League group. And for the first time in their history, the Black Eagles will be moving on to the knockout stages of the Champions League. So big up to Besiktas. Porto's balance, their opponents on the day, hangs in the balance for now, however, as Monaco got stomped 4-1 at home by RB Leipzig. That was the first time that Monaco has conceded 4 goals at home across all competitions since the 13th of December 2009, 8 years ago. They've had a pitiful Champions League campaign, says the Benfica fan, as they just have 2 points and have become the first Ligue 1 title holder to get eliminated from the Champions League and finish bottom of their group. Also, RB Leipzig became the 2nd German side to score 4 goals before halftime on the road in the Champions League. And let you guess who the other German side is that has achieved this. They scored 5 before the half. You'll never guess it. I mean, yeah, obviously it was Bayern Munich. And finally, Group F, where the hashtag #MakeItStop campaign. A campaign started by myself and Dark Star, aimed at getting Peter Bosz booted from Borussia Dortmund because he is quite incompetent. Hell, he doesn't even have the resume that would back up the signing of him as their manager. But anyways, the Make It Stop campaign gained some more steam as Borussia Dortmund lost their 3rd match on the skid, remained winless in their last 5 matches, and in their Champions League group as they fell 2-1 to Tottenham Hotspur. What a way to mark Shinji Kagawa's 200th appearance for the club. The 2 goals they conceded took their goals against tally to 10 after 5 matches, a new, unwanted record for them. The architects of their downfall were Dele Alli, who had 2 assists on the night, and Harry Kane, who took his goals contribution to 7 in the Champions League, just short of his competitor in the group, Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo and co had an easy-as-you-like time in Cyprus, as they cruised to a 6-0 win. Ronaldo, despite all of his domestic struggles, was at least able to score and assist against Apoel Nicosia. He scored a brace on the night, taking his tally to 8 in the UCL this season and 18 in the UCL in 2017, a new record for goals in a calendar year. It wasn't all Ronaldo though, as Benzema got a brace and an assist, taking his Champions League goal involvement to 73 with 53 goals and 20 assists. Impressive stuff, boy. And yeah, that'll just about do it for this penultimate match day in this year's Champions League group stage. Circle your calendars for December 5th and 6th, those are the final days of the Champions League group stage. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video. My name is Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Bye now!